Good day, everyone. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers, talking about this upcoming atmospheric river on Friday into Saturday. And looking at the National Weather Service in Seattle, they do say that there is some flood risk, including mainly sensitive rivers like the Skokomish. However, rivers in the central and north Cascades will bear watching as well. And looking at the satellite imagery here, this is the system that went over on Tuesday night, clearing out this morning. There are some residual showers in western Washington, but nothing too impactful. And it's going to dry out for the rest of the day into tomorrow, and then we'll have rain approaching the area on Friday evening. Looking at rainfall totals for the system that just went through last night and is wrapping up this morning, decent amount of rainfall across the area, mostly beneficial for Washington State. So popping over to the European model data here, you guys can see how it dries out for Wednesday afternoon into evening, and then Thursday is going to be mostly dry as well. And then going into Friday, most of the day on Friday is actually going to be dry. And it'll start to get a little bit soggy up there on the northwest Washington coast by the time we get into Friday afternoon. And this run of the European model actually slowed down the front ever so slightly. So if you have some activities on Friday evening, I wonder what activities those might be. But if you have some activities on Friday evening, it looks like it may start raining on this model run by about 5 p.m. up in Bellingham and Mount Vernon. And out there on the coast, it's raining pretty hard. And then by the time we get to about 8 p.m., it's raining still up there in Bellingham and Mount Vernon on this model run. But down in places like Arlington, Everett, Seattle, Federal Way, Tacoma, Olympia, even the southwest Washington coast, on this model run, it's not quite raining yet. And then it starts raining by the time we roll into about the 10 o'clock hour or so. 10, 11 o'clock. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But in the end, it is going to rain a decent amount. It brings about 2 to 3 inches to the Olympic Mountains and about the same to the North Cascades. And anywhere from about Everett north in the lowlands could get over an inch of rain with this. South, maybe a little bit less, but still soggy. And if we were to get those amounts, we're not really looking at any major flooding issues, I wouldn't think. But if we were to get the fire hose a little bit more, like Vancouver Island over here, that could raise the rivers a bit more, so that bears watching. If we pop over to the most recent run of the GFS, we see that it actually brings more rain to the Olympics and the Cascades, with anywhere from 2 to 5 inches in the upper parts of the Olympic Mountains, and there in the North Cascades, it almost brings about 5.5 to 6 inches up there. So that could lead to a bit more flooding issues for places like the Skokomish River, and there might even be some rises on rivers like the Skagit and Nooksack. However, I wouldn't expect there to be significant flooding, but regardless, those rivers would possibly reach flood stage with that amount of rain. But enjoy the next couple of days. It's going to be partly sunny this afternoon, and then going into Thursday, we're just going to have some mid-level clouds and high-level clouds, and by the time we get towards sunset in western Washington, it's going to be nice and sunny possibly. And then as we roll through Friday, clouds will increase, and there's the atmospheric river right there. And then most of the day on Saturday will actually end up being pretty decent, most likely, with the exception of there being some convergence zone activity. All right, folks, if you're enjoying these videos, please make sure and like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like that one. All right, talk to you later.